Hey YouTube, what is up? Well, as many of you probably know and have experienced firsthand, we are now fully into link format. We should also probably actually stop calling it link format now that I think about it, because it's not really a format, it's an actual change to the master rules. So maybe we should start calling it like link era or something like that, because it's an actual change to the game, not like a new deck coming out. Either way, here's my first-hand experience as to what happened with my first ever link era duel. I went to my locals on Friday, and there were less people than average, but it wasn't noticeably less. It was like maybe 1 or 2 people. A lot of people at my locals actually were willing to try out link format, and most of them had the choice. Like, we had a choice between playing in link era and playing in non-link era, and the majority voted for link era. So they're actually, you know, embracing this new mechanic, they're embracing this new style of play, and I myself was actually pretty eager to try it out. And to be honest with you, I did end up pretty disheartened that my zoo deck was nowhere near as effective as I wish it was. I did play pure zoo, but I did alter my build to make it more trap heavy like the OCG builds with Horn of Heaven, Torrential Tribute, Strike, Warning. I did still play D-Barrier, I played 2, and I even included the Predaplant engine, which to me felt like a mistake, but for a different reason completely. But with all that in my deck, and even playing, you know, I think the best way I could have, it still felt pretty lackluster playing in link format. Now, I know you can still end with like a Trident and a Emerald on turn 1 if you open up like the Nuts and Zoo, which is like Barrage and Tanky, but that really sucks if that's your best play. Like, originally Barrage Tanky was like 2 rank 4s, one of them being Emerald, one of them being anything else, and a Trident, and then you could draw like 2 or 3 cards. But now it's like your best play is go +1 and have Trident on field. And it feels a little subpar, to be honest with you guys. I know Zoo wasn't designed to be used in link format, but it actually does work fairly well because you could just make mono Zoo, which was actually my plan. Basically, you only put 1 Zodiac in the extra deck monster zone, and you just keep stacking and stacking and stacking, and you bring Chakanine out to bring back like other Zodiacs into your main monster zone, and then you just play that way. That was the style I was going for, but it really just didn't work for me, and I may or may not have lost to Chainburn round 1, which did not help with my transformation into a Pillar of Salt. I'll be honest, I was a little spiced that I did have to go up against Chainburn, but aside from that, I do enjoy the constant changes that this game goes through as it forces you to adapt. I really like the fact that we have new summoning mechanics and new changes to the game. The game really does evolve. Like, the game is almost unrecognizable if you played in like 2004 and came back. It really is like a different game, and I actually enjoy its constant evolution, but I do have to say that the current actual link support is very lacking. That's just like an obvious statement because we only have 3 link monsters, and you can only really bring out one of them in most decks, and that's Decode Talker, because the other ones that came out require Cyburst monsters, and you're not playing that right now, honestly, and you're not playing normal monsters to bring out Link Spider. So it's really, really weird, honestly, unless you play like Gofu or something like that. But I'll be honest with you guys, it was actually very difficult to play Pure Zoo without Mrs. Radiant, because that's the link monster that allows this deck to function. We get Mrs. Radiant in the Code of the Duelist set, which comes out in like 2 weeks, but I really just didn't want to wait that long, honestly. The only link monster I could bring out, and did manage to bring out, was Decode Talker, and even then it was lackluster, as my opening hand both games against literal Chainburn was Brilliant Fusion, Predaplant Cobra, and Predaplant Scorpio for some reason. So I literally just drew almost the entire Predaplant engine. If I drew the Garnet, I would have been very pissed, but I actually was able to get a player 2 off. I did know game 2 that I was playing against Chainburn, so I kept my field presence to a minimum so I didn't get burned by cards that just, you know, count the number of cards I have and then burn me for it. I was able to make a first turn Decode Talker and set a Warning, which really wasn't much, to be honest with you, but even then the Chainburn player Kaiju'd my Decode Talker turn 1, and it did hurt. I don't want you guys to think that I'm dissing this guy or anything like that. He was actually really cool and we traded cards, and I wanted his opinion on why he played Chainburn, and he just explained it perfectly. I think he made an amazing meta call. He basically explained that because there's more monster zones and there's more field presence that people can accumulate in one turn, that Chainburn was just more effective than ever, and I really understood what he was saying. He explained that Balance of Judgment was a card that they never had before, and Balance of Judgment, if you don't know what it does, is a trap that allows you to draw cards for the difference of your board presence compared to your opponent's, and I think it counts your hand as well. So like every turn, even though I'd clear his board or something like that, he'd activate Balance of Judgment and just draw 5, and then go off from there. So he made a really, really good meta call, similar to how I used to play Vanity Fiend Turbo in ABC format. I know people hated me for playing it, but it was just fun to play. I really respect the meta call he actually made, even though it was Chainburn and that deck's a meme. I get it, you know, haha, I played Chainburn, but it was really smart. He knew how to play it as a resource grind, which was actually very smart. And then as soon as he said, I think I have game, I was like, yeah, you definitely do. And he just flipped the cards and I was like, yep, that's game. so he knew what he was doing. He played very well, and in the end I did lose to Oda Chamberlain, and afterwards I did drop because I wasn't feeling Lynx at that particular moment, because I think his deck was the prime example of what we need, and that's just more Link monsters. I do think Lynx will be fun to play in the future, just not yet. For now, most people I know are playing decks that actively don't use the extra deck, like they make it a point not to use the extra deck, and honestly that's just because we lack a good card pool of decent Link monsters to use. Just like when Synchro and Xyz first dropped, the reception was lackluster until we got some decent support, and that's all I'm honestly waiting for. So I did sell my Zoo deck in anticipation for whatever the Link version of Inzectors or Windups will be, the first broken Link archetype, and for now I'm still waiting, to be honest with you guys. We know the archetypes that are coming out in the future, and I do have high hopes for Vendread because it doesn't actively even rely on the extra deck, and I think that's part of the problem. There hasn't been a deck yet that fully takes advantage of Link summoning that isn't excessively fragile. I know World Chalice does put out 2 Firewall Dragons, which is definitely a dangerous board, but I feel like they are way too fragile to actually play. I feel like Spirals might be the actual first decent Link archetype, and they're not even really meant to be used in Link. They just got a really good Link monster that does make the archetype work, but even then, maybe that's all we need for other decks. So for now, that's what I'm waiting for, and until that time comes, I'm going to be digging as deep as I can into the salt mines with my Domain Monarch deck, as I do at the beginning of most formats. Thank you guys again for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of Link format or Link era, and what your experience has been so far. I'd really be interested to hear it in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a discussion with you guys, so feel free to leave a comment if you want to. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe, because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.